Today we're going to be talking about how to do great product photography to 1, increase your conversion rates, 2, to improve your sales ranking, and 3 is to repel your competitors off Amazon FBA. So since most online shoppers have never seen your product in person, they're going to judge it based on how it's shown in the photo. So high quality images can actually really help you build trust. It's honestly the closest thing that they're going to have to physically touching your products. So how can you tell if products are being well optimized? What makes a product image either good or bad? And how do you make your product photos stand out from the rest of the competition? However, the most important things that you need to know to create the most amazing product images that will turn your Amazon visitors into buyers. After watching this, you're gonna be able to sell way more as a result, so keep watching. A huge part of our success on Amazon FBA comes from being strategic with our product images. Yes, we give attention to seemingly minor aspects of product photography so that we produce the best images that are significantly better than our competition. In our 4 years of experience selling on Amazon, we've seen over a 30% impact on our conversion rates simply by improving some of our product images. And 30% is freaking huge on Amazon. Before we dive into how to create photos that sell on Amazon to sell your Amazon product, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and be sure to hit the notification to get the latest tips and tricks on selling on Amazon FBA. All right, so let's jump into it. So first, we have to think about the product image requirements. There's important technical requirements to be thinking about when you're creating your Amazon images. So first, you need to make sure that your product images and listing graphics follow the Amazon guidelines. So number 1 is that it has to be 1000 by 1000 resolution because it enables the zoom feature, which is incredibly important when selling on Amazon. Next is you need the file format to be a JPEG or GIF or a PNG file, pretty standard. There's also like a TIFF file, but I never even heard of that. That's kind of weird, whatever. And then third is that you need the file name to be consistent with the product identifier. So most people will use the ASIN, the Amazon's kind of unique identifier, but you can also use a 13-digit ISBN, UPC code, all that kind of stuff. But basically it should be followed by a period and then the appropriate file extension. So for simplicity, you put in your ASIN.jpg. Really easy. I'll include a link below so that you guys can see all the actual requirements straight from Amazon. So let's jump into the main image. So the main image has to have a pure white background. The image must be, of course, well in focus. It's got to be well lit. It's got to have realistic color and without watermarks. The full product image must be shown, and you should probably fill about 85% of the space or more ideally. The bigger your product image looks, the better. Now, a really common mistake is putting in graphics or additional text on the main image. Now, I'm not going to tell you what to do and what not to do in your business, but it is against the terms of service. Now, in some niches, it's common practice. They're gonna want to put guarantees and maybe quantity packs if Amazon doesn't do that defaulted for whatever reason. Now, sometimes you can tell a better story using those, but I will say that we've ourselves and seen a ton of people get their images taken down for having those kind of little graphics on the side of their main image, and so it's up to you. It's kind of at your own risk. From Amazon's side, they feel that it actually helps enhance the buying experience, which ultimately is the most important thing that our buddy Jeff Bezos thinks about. Now, your main image is the most important out of all 9 images. More important than the lifestyle ones, more important than infographics, because that's the one that's helping customers choose to look at your specific listing. So that's the one that you want to spend the most time looking at and reviewing. That's the one that you probably want to test the most using a software called Splitly, because overall that's the first impression that your product is making with the entire Amazon community. So again, you want the main image to be eye-catching. The main image, it needs to really stand out against all of your competitors so that the customer knows exactly what they're looking for. Your main image kind of helps embody that, and that's going to differentiate you from the rest ideally. This image also is, again, really helping you with your click-through rate, your CTR from the search results, which is the most important thing to basically get you the most sessions on your listing. And those are the reasons why the main image is the most important image on your listing overall. All right, guys, so let me give you some tips on the main image and kind of walk you through some examples. So these main images are all really nice. If you kind of hover over and kind of drag on it, you can see that they're using a ton of the white space. Again, all these guys are using white backgrounds, which is following the directions. But yeah, they're using a huge majority of the space, of the available space, which is great because it's making their images or their product look bigger, which is really important. So another great tip is actually just to be looking, of course, at your competitors' photography, so you can kind of see how they're styling it, how they're doing it, so that you can see if there's ways that you can really improve on it. One of the main things that you really want your main image to convey is how the product is going to be used. And so, this is an example, of course, of like vases. And so as I'm kind of scrolling through, I'm looking for this. Okay, how would you use this? Of course, you're gonna use flowers. So I actually really like this image. I wish it was a little bit bigger and like it had a little bit less white space. But what's cool about it is that one is showing you actually being used. So what it looks like versus, and I get a way clearer picture with the flowers inside of it than if it was just, the glass and then this kind of like, metal rack that is the actual product. So one, the flowers add a lot of color, which makes it more eye-popping, which is awesome. But two is actually showing how the product is being used. And there's a ton of different ways that you can do that. If you have like maybe a guitar stand, and then like I said before, you want to create a ton of different variations so that you can A/B test them. I think it's probably one of the most important things that you can be testing on your specific listing, because it's gonna really determine how many people end up clicking onto your specific listing. And then one more tip is that you can actually crop it the long way, so going like this. And what happens is that it ends up making your image look a lot bigger on mobile. A lot of people don't know that, but definitely consider that as you're uploading your images. And here, I wanted to show you another example of these products because I think this one's gonna actually have a really big contrast in terms of how you can use props of color to make your image look better. So the Vitamix is and Black & Decker, these are two big brands within this space, which is fine. Their images are a little bit boring, just like kind of black and white. But check this out, look how cool these look. Once you have like food in here, it's kind of helping you visualize it. It makes the image stand out a lot better. And overall, like these look a lot more attractive to me than this one that's kind of boring. But yeah, hopefully that's helpful. Now, let's move on to the secondary images where you can further explain the product, show its features, how it's used in real life, and answer any potential questions that you have around your product. Kind of like what I was mentioning earlier, these are really what tell the story of your product. So Amazon allows you to upload up to 8 additional photos to make full use of this. Now, I really recommend not going below 4 or less just because there's not enough photos to really impact sales. I'll constantly use all the spots that we can because we might as well, and we already paid for the photography up front. So we're gonna upload as many as we possibly can. And as much as possible, again, like I mentioned earlier, recreate the experience of a customer walking into a shop and be able to see and touch your photo. Of course, they won't be able to see the product in real life, from as many angles, but you want to really try to provide as much of that experience as you can through your imagery. And of course, focus on the best features, the benefits of owning this product. All of that kind of stuff is really huge. When you really think about it, these additional images or these secondary images are really a way for you to create trust and influence that buyer decision. So next, let's cover lifestyle images because this is one of the most important areas, one of my favorite images. It's like, the ones that you see most likely on Instagram because they're often like action shots. They require props, often models. But honestly, like this is such a tangible representation of what it's like to use your product. Lifestyle images are really great because it's helping that customer visualize the different scenarios where you can use it. And that's often really important sometimes for products that can be used in different areas. So there's a mask, like kind of like it looks like a ski mask or kind of like that mask you would use to like rob people, I guess, or like rob a bank, whatever. But like, a lot of people will use images, paintballing or riding a motorcycle, of course, like skiing or snowboarding. And since it has so many use cases, now you're like, you're telling the motorcycle riders like, hey, yeah, you can use this product specifically for this. Even though probably 90% are gonna use it for skiing. It doesn't matter, but now like the motorcycle owner like has a visual representation of like, oh yeah, this product works for this use case. So a lot of my favorite lifestyle images are usually in the health and wellness space. So I'm gonna go over a lot of these with you guys so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so check out these lifestyle images. They're so good. So like this one is showing all the different scenarios where you can be using this product. So on the top left, they're at the office. So it's basically saying like, yeah, you can use this. It's totally acceptable to use this at work, and you're gonna be healthier. You're gonna build your stronger core, and it's getting people excited about, you know, bringing this to the office. You know, this looks like, you know, they're probably at the gym. So it's kind of reliable. It's that, you know, that you can use this, you know, maybe when you're pregnant, it looks like. I mean, overall, it's basically helping you visualize, and you're honestly persuading the customer that like, hey, this product can be used in so many different ways. And some of these, you know, are gonna resonate better with that specific person. For instance, like I used to use this at the office, and so like this is like gonna really resonate with me versus, you know, some of the other images that probably won't like resonate with me as strongly. Here's some more lifestyle images that I really liked from like a camping brand. So they've got a tent. Yeah, pretty simple image. So if they had just gone with this, I mean, it'd be fine, but I'm not really like sold on the product, to be totally honest. But I think these are really where it comes in and you're actually visualizing, okay, the setup looks pretty easy. All you're doing is putting a carabiner on like a piece of rope. Like it's, you know, it's really showing like the life of leisure, you know, kind of using this item, kind of hanging out in the outdoors, ideally by a river so you can kind of hear the water passing through. That's pretty sweet. You know, again, just showing like how that it can really support this person's weight, like with this little thing. So if you have a fear of safety, like it's showing that this is actually being used in this image. And I really like how they kind of faded out the background. It looks really cool. You know, again, kind of another image of like the life of leisure, which is awesome. If I were to do something a little bit different, since this is a double hammock, I probably would have it had an image of like a couple, because and then like if I'm buying this, you know, for like a weekend camping trip with my girlfriend, then like I already visualized that. But you know what, overall these images are really good. And the last one is like, again, of the model and just putting it away. It shows how small it is, which is really important, so that, you know, if you're like a backpacker or you're someone that's really concerned about the space, it's showing that, hey, this is not that big of an item. So overall, I feel like these guys really killed it with these lifestyle images, and hopefully that's helpful for you. Now, lifestyle images can be really expensive because you need a really good photographer. A lot of the time, the people that do the white main images are not the same person that does the lifestyle images. And then on top of that, you might need to hire a model, all that kind of stuff. And so I'm gonna show you a quick little hack. And it's not perfect, but it does the job of how you can do basically lifestyle images using your main imagery. So these guys did it pretty interesting. So you can see the main image here. You know, it's a nice image, but this one, I'm not 100% sure if it's photoshopped, but it looks like it. And so they basically took someone doing a yoga pose, like doing a plank, and they basically just photoshopped it there so that you can visualize, oh yeah, like I would take this to the gym and it'd be really, you know, great to have this, you know, infused water bottle for after, you know, to yoga class. This one, 110%, it is fake. But again, it actually does do a good job of depicting. I like the fact that they had it, you know, a fruit bowl and a lime bowl plate thing off to the side. And so yeah, again, it's really just showing you like that, how the product is being used and helping you just kind of see that there's so many different places that you can be using it, you know, whether it's like, you know, every day around the house when you're going to yoga class. I mean, this guy looks like he just came from a run, like overall just showing different use cases, which is, I think, really smart. Okay, so next, let's move to instructional images. So these are also super important. It really tells a story of how you use the item, but most importantly, you want to show that it's actually easy to use. Versus if you see something really complicated, you know, you might be concerned that you're not gonna be able to use it, like a French press. Like I'm still honestly pretty intimidated by a French press. But yeah, let's jump into these images, and I think this will kind of really show you what I'm talking about. So this garlic press, which I love, it's a super simple item, but the images are great. It actually just shows you exactly that it's a 3-step process. One, you're putting the clove into so you're putting the clove into the little cylinder. 2 is that you're kind of like doing this like pressing motion against like a table, I guess. And then 3 is you take out the garlic press or the garlic and it's already, peeled for you. Yeah, actually it's a peeler, not a press. Sorry about that. But yeah, super easy to use. That's awesome. And I love this image for the French press. And I went through a bunch of them. Most of the listings did not have this specific infographic or kind of instructional image, which I thought was awesome. Where is it? Here we go. So it just shows how simple it is, which I didn't know, to use a French press. Number 1, you add the coffee. Number 2, you add out hot water. And it even gives you 95 degrees Celsius or 203 degrees Fahrenheit, which is awesome. It's giving you the optimal temperature. 3 is that you slowly push the plunger down. And then 4 is you pour the coffee out. 4-step process, really simplifies the product for you and really just well done. Hats off. I really appreciate these guys. Okay, next is feature photos. So feature photos are really important to help you differentiate what features your product has that are maybe different than your competitors. But then on top of that, it's just overall really showing a lot of the different capabilities of your product. So this is a really cool one. Actually, let me just click in so that you guys can see it better. And yeah, so it just shows you that there's 4 misting modes. You just have to hit the misting button, and then it has, for those that like continuous mist, this is your product. If you like interval mist, this is your product. It talks about that you have a 2-hour timer or a 1-hour timer. It's just kind of showing you the functionality that maybe a lot of the other products don't have, and that maybe you're really into interval mist, and then you should be buying this one over everybody else out there. This is a great image, just kind of highlighting those aspects. Okay, and then next is we have the functional images. And this is a really interesting one where a lot of the times, there's specific functions that the normal customer wouldn't even think about. And if you can highlight that using your imagery, it just gives them even more reason to buy your product. So going back to the French press example, I love this one. I would have never thought of any of these. But other reasons to buy their specific French press is because you can use it to juice your fresh berries. You can rinse quinoa. You can use it to rehydrate for dried foods. And then you can also use it to strain the liquid off your frozen vegetables. Honestly, if I bought this French press, I'm probably never going to use this French press for any of those 4 reasons. But it's just giving me more reason to actually buy this product. I thought this was really genius, and I wanted to make sure that you guys knew this. All right, guys, so we got your last few things. So one is to look at comparison images. I love this. It looks really, really good. But this is a beard kit, just so you guys know. But it's showing look, we're including this free shave cream. We're including a free ebook. We're including the storage bag, beard oil, beard balm, all this stuff that the other guys are not doing. And so it makes you feel like, hey, I'm getting a better value. I don't even know if this is necessarily true, but it was just an image that I thought really stood out to me as a cool way of kind of comparing you against them. So the next one is kind of social proof. So a lot of times you'll see in the supplements game where it's 4 out of 5 doctors or 4 out of 5 dentists recommend it. These guys are using specific people, probably actually getting images maybe from their website, from their Shopify store, and they're kind of highlighting the reviews of Lady V and Miss NyQuil and Amy M and all that kind of stuff, which again is social proof. Just like reviews, it's really, really important to customers. And I thought this was kind of a cool way of differentiating, especially in health and personal care, where people really care about what they're putting into their bodies. Next is that you can look at these badges. And so these are often kind of certifications, that has to do with health or safety. So USDA organic is a cool one, non-GMO, sharing certified, maybe it could be fair trade, all that kind of stuff is a cool way of just saying hey, this is the quality of the product that I'm selling you, and you can trust this. And I know these are really important to more health conscious people. And then the last one I thought was interesting is that they're doing a guarantee. And so, these guys, worry-free purchase, they stand behind all of their products, and it just makes you feel a little bit better. And then again, if you're not 100% satisfied, you can contact them and probably get your money back. Some people will have their return policies, all that kind of stuff. Just other ways you can differentiate against everybody else. And that's the really big thing. All right, guys, wanted to wrap up with a few last tips for you guys. Number one is check out Optimizilla. I'll include a little link. But yeah, it definitely helps you resize your photos to keep the file size small while maintaining quality. And you want the images to be small so they load faster. And that's super, super helpful. Number two is rename. You can also rename your images to have keywords that you've researched for SEO. You know, this is a really commonly debated one, but why not? You might as well just try just in case. And then number three is that you can make sure to remember to check how your images look on mobile, because about 50% of shoppers view it on mobile. You really want to make sure that it takes up a huge portion of the frame, and sometimes you'll see that experience where some images come out really, really small on mobile, some come out big. So you want to make sure to test those images to make sure that you're really optimizing for mobile. Product photography is honestly something that everybody can learn to do. Those that are definitely on the tighter budget, you might feel like that using the products photography from your manufacturer might be enough. I really don't recommend doing that. Honestly, just get a professional. It's probably one of the most important things that you're going to invest in. I know some of my friends have done kind of DIY product photography, and I highly, highly recommend getting a professional to do it. It's going to help you overall in the long term. And the nice thing is that once you invest, usually you don't have to get it redone. Again, like, of course, if you're a professional, that's fine, go for it. But overall, I would really, really invest in this because I do think it's probably the most important part of your listing. If Amazon isn't your hobby, then you need to take it like seriously, like a business. And yeah, so if you need to find a local photographer but on a small budget, you can always search platforms like Craigslist, Thumbtack, or just finding like a friend that is like a professional that can help you kind of save money and overall still get you the really high quality images that you need. And then one of the other big things to do is that after you get your photography done, you want to make sure to get those retouched. And some of you guys might be saying like, oh, I have Lightroom, I'll do it myself. Again, you want to really be thinking kind of bigger, saving your time, focusing on like launching more products. So there's a lot of really great services on Fiverr. I think we pay $1 per image that can really help you save a ton of money and save a lot of time, so you can be focusing on like the bigger tasks to helping you build your business. And then there's a lot of guys out there that probably higher end, but they can take care of your photography, an entire listing setup if that's the route that you decide to go, if you have a bigger budget. But KenjiROI is one. I know MarketHustl is great. I'm really good friends with the owner Keith, and then Viral Launch, I'm friends with the owner Casey. Those guys are all really great in terms of helping set up your listings professionally. But again, you will pay for it, just being totally honest. All right, guys, and that's pretty much it for Amazon photography. Don't forget, photography is probably the most important thing on your listing. So don't skip out on this one. Make sure you get really, really high quality product images, because having bad ones is not gonna work out well. If you guys have any questions, definitely leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this. It would be super helpful for us as we're really trying to build up our awareness. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. See you guys in the next video.